comment. Tell me where you're watching me from. I am your host, Raymond Mutuku, and this is the Chariots of Fire. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe and feel free to comment. As always, we are moving, we are really doing amazing work. If you're new to this channel, feel free to be part and parcel of our streams. It's such a wonderful time. I hope you are enjoying yourself. Wonderful. Let us continue moving. Any questions up to there, feel free, my dear brothers and sisters. You're welcomed to the Chariots of Fire. And we'll continue. Today, I'm going to explain to you something very, very interesting. Why 28th of April is a very, very interesting day in the calendar of Kenyans.
Well, they're back. This time about...
I'm going to explain to you why, 28th of April is a very important day in the calendar of Kenyans and how it's going to affect you in 2027. So the reason why I will be streaming today I will not be talking about any other thing. I'll just be telling you, just to give you a heads up on what's going to happen in the near foreseeable future. Number one, you see the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has just finished the registration of new voters. So it means that new vote now the window of, if you want to register as a new voter, that window has now officially been closed. All right, the 30 days have elapsed. So it means that for those who wish to vote, you'll have to wait for another cycle of elections. So today I'll just be talking about why 28th of April is a very important day, and you will remember this day and the ramifications of this day in the near foreseeable future. Why? For example, why this day is very important. In the calendar of Kenyans, why 28th April 2026 is a very important day in the calendar of Kenyans. Because remember, 28th of April has already sealed, the deal. The deal is over. The numbers are out. The Gen Zs, this is the results. The Gen Zs who are supposed to register as voters did not register, and the window has already closed. So it means that they were supposed to 5 million Gen Zs were supposed to register as new voters in the next year's elections, but they didn't, and the window has closed. So it means that in the next year, the Gen Zs are not going to vote. They have been locked out officially. So that means that only 1.8 million, Gen Zs are the ones who will vote in next year's election. That is why I've told you that mark the calendar, because I'm going to explain to you something very, very serious and very, very, even I'm going to explain to you why, probably next year, why we're going to have even clashes. I'm going to explain to you why. It's something that is something that has been building up, and I'm going to explain to you. You see, number one, there was a low, turnout of the Gen Zs to register as new voters. They were the ones who were supposed to change the outcome of this election, but they didn't. To some people it's good news, to some people it's bad news. Yes, some people are happy that they didn't turn up, and now they're crying. They're saying that the window of registering as voters, it should be extended. But the Electoral Boundaries Commission came out and said that there are no extensions. Okay, the law is very clear. You were given 30 days to register as new voters, but you didn't. So I'm going to give you the numbers and mark this day, because this day is a very important day, and I will explain to you why. The incumbent president is a happy man, because in Central Region they were supposed to register at least 1 million, but they didn't. They registered only 400,000 new voters. They were supposed to register 1 million voters. They only registered 443,000 new voters. So it means they have fallen short. Number two, in the strongholds of, hello, my good friend Hannah. Welcome to the stream, and welcome. So I'm going to explain to you why. It's over. It's already over. You see, even before waking up in the morning, the incumbent president, has 5.3 million votes in the bag, plus the new votes that are out, that is 5.7 million in his stronghold, plus another 1.5 million brought in. So when you do your mathematics, you realize that the opposition have been caught unawares. You see, and I was telling a friend, during the protests about high fuel prices, it was just a ruse. It was a distraction. It was a ruse. They were supposed to, on that day, to go and register as voters, but they didn't. They went to the streets to complain, and so they were caught, and they were time barred. They were caught unawares. All right. So it means, you see one thing about politics. Politics is a game of distraction. Once you get distracted, something happens, and you're left like, what happened? But you see, they were distracted. They were distracted with one thing, but something else was happening on the other side of the bridge. So today, I'm sure that they're all regretting, or they're all wondering what has happened. Let me tell you, I'm going to break it down for you, this one now. And remember, this is exactly what will happen next year. Number one, for you to vote in the next year's election, number one, you must have a voter's card. Those are the legal documents. And number two, you must have your national identification card. You vote with your legal documents, all right? A voter's card is a legal document. A national identification card is a legal document. Voting is a legal process. Up to there, are we together? So number one, you cannot vote by making noise. Are we together? You cannot vote with your emotions. You cannot vote by making noise or by shouting, oh, somebody so and so must go. No. You vote, ladies and gentlemen, you vote. I want to explain to you the basics, because it seems that they were caught unawares. They were so busy complaining about high fuel prices until they forgot about the basics. Number one, and I'll give you the basic facts. Number one, the business of a politician is to campaign. The business of a voter is to wake up on the day of voting and vote. That is your business as a voter. Number two, and I want to explain to you the basics, all right? If you are interested in a political position, you cannot contest for any position unless you are a voter, all right? So if you're interested in next year's election and you have not registered as a voter, then you're automatically barred from the process. So any candidate the first thing that you must be a registered voter. Are we together? Number 2, it is the business of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to, number 1, tally the votes. Their business is to tally the votes. And once they have tallied the votes, it is their business to announce the winner. All right? So, number 1, the business, and I want us to understand the basics, because apparently those are the things that are overlooked. The business of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is to tally and count, all right, and to supervise the process to be free and fair, all right. Their work is to make sure that the process, they have procured the materials for the election day, they have hired people to check everything that is happening, everything should be in order. They are supposed to check for any irregularities, all right. So they have their own business. Once that is complete, they count the votes and they announce who is the winner. So this is, now I'm going to explain to you why 28th April 2026 is a very important day in the calendar of Kenyans, because it's going to determine so many things. All right. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission released their numbers today, and to the surprise of many, it's the Gen Z's only registered one. The number that registered was 1.8 million only. There were supposed to be 6 million, but they were caught offside. So the fact that they did not register has given the incumbent president a natural advantage, all right, over the rest, because I have the numbers here, even without doing anything, the incumbent president in his strongholds, he has close to 6 million votes. If you do your mathematics and you add another 1 million, 2 million here, 1 million here, 1 million there, that's close to 8 million, 9 million. So it means that the united opposition, they were so busy, being distracted by the politics of the day. They should have mobilized their people to come out and vote, but apparently, they didn't. So it means that they will be left out in that process. All right. So today, that is to the incumbent leader, it's a good day. To the opposition, it's a sad day. All right, because one man's meat is another man's poison. All right. Yeah, one man's meat is another man's poison. So what is good news to you, to somebody else, it's bad news. So it means, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are in the know, that the incumbent president will go for another 5 years. All right. So if you need to know that, so it means that we're not going to have a new president anytime soon. The next president, if you want a president, will be after 5 years. It will be in the year 2032. Yeah. So any questions up to there? Any questions? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment, and I'm very happy to be here. Any questions? Any questions up to there? You can ask me your questions as we conclude. Any questions up to there? You can ask me your questions. You can ask me your questions. Do you want us to continue reading the scripture? I've already finished that analysis. We can continue reading the scripture. Any questions up to there? Any questions? Any questions? You can ask me your questions as we continue. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. Ask me your questions. You can ask me your questions as we move. If you have anything new, you can ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. You can ask me your questions as we continue moving. As I said, that for those who need to know, it's already a win for the incumbent president, because already, even without doing anything, he already has close to 8 to 9 million in the bag, even without doing anything. Even without doing anything. So, opposition, it is a sad day because they were supposed to come out in large numbers, but they didn't. They were supposed to tell their voters to turn up in large numbers, but they didn't. You see, ladies and gentlemen, for you to win any election, number one, your base must be solid. You must have a very solid base, all right? And number two, there should be fanatics, not just voters, but fanatics. For you to survive, some of these politicians survive by fanaticism, all right? They must be fanatics, they must be excited. But you see, the problem with the opposition, or the united opposition, is that there is no fanaticism. There are no fanatics. They're just there, to shout, this leader should go, and that's it. But in the other side, they're not just supporters, they are fanatics. They will sleep in the line, even if it's raining. They will sleep there. They'll get rained on until they ensure a win. So you see, there's a huge difference between some of these guys. You see, when I saw Rigathi Gachagua, and today I'm going to talk about politics. In fact, I have my Bible here, but I won't touch it. Yesterday when I saw Rigathi Gachagua going to court, this is the only day I'll talk about politics. So tomorrow we'll continue reading the scripture. So when I saw Rigathi Gachagua going to court, I started wondering, why is it that he really wants 80 million? Because he knows that is the only thing he's gonna get, and as from next year he'll be locked out until 2032. So unfortunately, the united opposition have to wait again up to 2032 for them to have a chance at the presidency. Because as things stand today, even ODM, I can tell you very clearly, and I can tell you for free, even right now that they have not registered new voters, I can tell you for free, even Ruto doesn't even need ODM. He doesn't even need to swallow ODM. Ruto doesn't even need, as things stand today, William Ruto doesn't need ODM. He doesn't even need any discussion with ODM. In fact, they can even unite ODM, Wiper, You see, even ODM, Wiper, and DCP, they can all unite. And I can tell you for free today, that they cannot remove the sitting president. Even if ODM and Wiper and DCP, they all unite, they cannot remove him. And I'm telling you for free. Why? Because number one, that's why I'm saying today is a very important day, because it has already sealed the fate for the one. You see, it has already sealed the fate for the next 6 years. It has already are we together? So it means, so I understand that you guys, I'm just trying to, I want us to analyze the numbers, because that is exactly what's going to happen. You see, let me tell you something. If the Gen Zs could have registered like 1 million in Central, they didn't. They registered 400,000. They should have registered at least 1 million in Nairobi. They didn't. They registered 200,000 in Nairobi. They should have registered at least, let me give you the numbers. At least 1 million in Western, but they didn't. They just registered a paltry 228,000. They should have registered at least 500,000 in Nakuru. They only registered 81,000. They should have registered at least 500,000 in Nyanza. They only registered 147,000. You see where the problem is? They are fallen short. Do you understand? So it means this election was supposed to be the election of young people, but they never came out to register. So their fate is already sealed. Their fate is already sealed, because they had 30 days to do what? To register, but they didn't. Now they want somebody to go to court to ask the court for an extension of voter registration. Their time bad, so they want to go to court asking for an extension, which the court will throw away that case. All right. So you see how the game has already been played. The game has already ended. It's game over. It's game over. I'm trying to explain to you, trying to tell you people, it is game over. It is game over. The Gen Zs, and I'm trying to give you the numbers. Number one, you cannot import voters. We cannot, as Kenyans, we cannot import voters from Uganda. Ugandans cannot vote in our elections in Kenya. We cannot import voters from Nigeria. Nigerians cannot vote in Kenya. We cannot import voters from the United States. Americans cannot vote in Kenya. We cannot import voters from South Africa. South Africans cannot vote in Kenya. All right? It is only Kenyans who are allowed to vote in Kenya. Those are the rules. We cannot go and import voters. That is exactly what I'm trying to explain. All right? We cannot import voters. All right? So the only people who can vote in Kenya legally are Kenyans. And you see what I'm trying to explain to you guys? They did not go and register as voters. You see where the problem is? Number one, they will say that they were not interested in the process. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want change, how can you say you're not interested in the process? Who will be interested on your behalf? Do you want a Nigerian to be interested in the Kenyan electoral system? Who will be interested? Who will be interested on your behalf? Do you want people from Somalia to come and show us? Do you want Ugandans to be interested on our behalf in our own affairs? Ladies and gentlemen, if something is about us, then we should be interested in the process. But apart where we got it wrong, the Gen Zs are not interested in our own things. That's where we got it wrong, you know. And that's why they've already lost even before the game has begun. Any questions up to there? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. That is why I always say that as a Kenyan, you should be interested in your issues. If you say, for example, that there is bad leadership in the country, what are you doing about it? That is the question. So if you are really interested about good governance, then it is your business as a voter to register. Do you see? Do you understand? So it means going to the streets to shout that there's high, the cost of living is high, you're throwing stones, yet you have not registered as a voter. Whatever you're doing is null and void. It has no consequence. Are we together? Are we together? If you're new to this channel, subscribe and comment. I'm very happy to be here, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions, you can post your questions, and I'm very happy to be here. Any questions? Any questions? You can ask me your questions as we move. You can ask me your questions as we move. You can ask me your questions as we move. Any questions? You can ask me your questions as we move. Any questions? Any questions? You can ask me your questions. So today we're going to talk about any questions? Any questions? I need to go. I need to go now. If you have any questions, you can tell me. You can ask me your questions as we're about to leave. You see, Trump was telling King Charles that his mother had a crush on him. Oh, my goodness, isn't that the joke of the year? Maybe it is the joke of the year. Maybe I think maybe King Charles must have been a handsome man when he was young. I'm sure many women must have really admired him, I think. So Trump said today that his mother really liked King Charles. Maybe when he was a young man, Of course, when you're young, ladies are usually interested in you. It's usually a part of life. Any questions up to there? Any questions? When you're young, you have energy. Ladies know that if they're with you, they will have a lot of fun. When they're with you, when you're young, you can do a lot of stuff, right? Yeah. So it is common. That's why I always tell people that. That's why today I'm talking about politics. because if you want to get into politics, get into politics when you're still young. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything when I'm an old man. No, I'll do stuff. That's why I'm here. That's why we are doing stuff today. I'm not doing anything at that particular age. No, we'll do it today. We'll do it while we're still young. Any questions? You can ask me your questions. I'm feeling a little bit sleepy. Need to go. Ask me your questions. Ask me your questions. Ask me your questions before I leave. Ask me your questions. So I think right now, gas prices have gone up, right? Yeah, everywhere. Everywhere. You cannot blame Trump for that. Say, oh, it's Trump. No. Any questions? I need to go. Tomorrow we'll continue. Any questions? Tell me where you're watching me from. Do you enjoy our channel? If you do enjoy our channel, subscribe and comment. Today, for those guys who are in the opposition, it's a sad day because you cannot get to that threshold that you cannot get there. Any questions? Let me prepare something to eat. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue tomorrow. Arrivederci.